For 30 years, Northern Ireland was effectively a war zone. Car bombs in the town centers, soldiers on the streets, neighbors killing neighbors over a flag and a border. More than 3,500 people were killed. Then, on a single Good Friday in 1998, it was meant to stop. This is the Good Friday Agreement. The roots ran deep. When Ireland was partitioned in 1921, the new Northern Ireland held a Protestant, pro-British majority, the Unionists, and a Catholic Irish nationalist minority who faced open discrimination. In the late 1960s, civil rights marches were met with batons, and the province tipped into violence. They called it, with grim understatement, the Troubles. For 3 decades, the IRA waged a campaign of bombings and assassinations to drive Britain out and unite Ireland. Loyalist paramilitaries struck back, and the British Army patrolled the streets. There was Bloody Sunday, when soldiers shot dead unarmed marchers. There were the hunger strikes, where Bobby Sands starved himself to death in a prison cell. In a place of just 1.5 million people, 3,500 died. Almost everyone knew a victim. By the 1990s, both sides were exhausted, and the war had become a bloody stalemate. Secret talks began. The IRA called a ceasefire, and the United States stepped in. President Clinton came to Belfast, put American weight behind peace, and sent Senator George Mitchell to chair the talks. At Stormont, the negotiations dragged through 1998. British Prime Minister Tony Blair, Irish leader Bertie Ahern, the nationalist John Hume, and the unionist David Trimble, with Sinn Féin's Gerry Adams in the room and hardliners like Ian Paisley raging against any deal. Then, on the 10th of April, after a sleepless final night, they signed. The agreement was a careful balance. Power would be shared, unionists and nationalists governing together. The principle of consent. Northern Ireland stays in the United Kingdom unless its people vote otherwise. Weapons would be put beyond use, paramilitary prisoners released, the border made invisible. John Hume and David Trimble were awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. In May, the people voted 71% in the North, 94% in the Republic. Yes, it was no fairy tale. Power sharing has collapsed and restarted. Dissidents bombed Omagh months later, killing 29. Brexit reopened the wound of the border. But the war was over. A whole generation has now grown up without the bombs. The Good Friday Agreement never made the two sides agree. It made them stop killing each other. And sometimes, that is the most a peace can do.